butthead thing, but now too late.
Too late.
Too late. We screwed it up.
Yep.
I screwed it up because I forgot to tell everybody. So now we are live. We are live now. Looks like we have got 3 whole people in this typing square. Taff, you know the rule. Usually we wait till 5, so that's what we're going to do. We're not going to break with tradition for no reason, not for any random Wednesday. So what I'm going to say is you can, I will not introduce you formally, but you can speak if you wish. But I would definitely make it good because this is pre-show banter.
Right.
Got anything for me?
He's not going to talk.
Taff?
You told me to only speak if it's going to be of value. So therefore, I'm not saying anything.
Well, you must have had something there.
No, but I am watching your face on these internet thing on these YouTube.
Yep.
And it's about a 3-second delay. So I'm going to stop doing it. Something like I'm going to stop. No, about 5.
So were you timing my face and my voice?
It's very hypnotic because your voice is in my head, yet your
face is in your eyes.
Face is in my eyes. It's about 5 seconds behind. It's like watching a really bad old, Chinese dubbed movie.
Oh yeah, I bet that would be funny.
Hi, Mom.
So I'm gonna.
Hi, Teresa. Welcome. So we are at 5, and also we hit 6 for a minute. So Taff, buckle up, or you're gonna hear the theme song. So I don't want to hear. Here's what happens every time. Every time I've introduced the theme song, I say, "Here's the theme song." So be quiet. There's 3 seconds of silence. Then the theme song starts, and then the guest goes, "Got it." So what I want from you is when I say we're gonna roll a theme song. So be quiet. We're gonna roll a theme song. That's exactly what I want you to do.
Hi, Kayla.
Hey, Kayla, Mod Kayla, ahoy. We dropped down to 4, so battle plan has been removed. Called it off. So you can relax again, Taff.
You tease.
Whoo, boy.
Prepped myself.
I feel that was a lot of stress averted. Guys, also, sad news, RIP, Trim the Flamingo, still out of batteries. Deadsville, right back there.
Pete Fritz in the building.
Petey, what's up?
Showtime.
Pete is playing the role of Beetlejuice. We're getting closer to Halloween every day, people. But when can you not say that?
That's true.
Let's see. What else is going on? So let's do a little housekeeping up front here. Thanks for showing up, everybody. Pre-show. Dude, what's Kayla saying?
2 days to get more batteries before Flamingo Friday.
I know.
Flamingo.
Flamingo Friday. So I pound sign Flamingo Friday. I've got some rechargeable ones. I was hoping they would be ready in time for the show, but they alas are not. And I do not believe Trung should be resurrected unless I could bring him back at full power. So he shall remain dormant, lying, if you will, like mighty Cthulhu and sunken relief. Anyway, guys, we got 5. So now I need double A's, Teresa, but don't worry about it. I got it covered. We got 5 people. So Taff, it's time to knock off the chatter and listen to this theme song.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Welcome to the show. My name's Dave, and this is Hangout and Trivia on our Fistful of Podcasts YouTube, an FFOP radio production brought to you by Fistful of Podcasts at FFOPradio.com. Don't go to fistfulofpodcast.com. There is Chinese porn there. Please help me, people, in welcoming my guests. I know him as Taff simply because it was easier when he was introduced to me. He said, just call me Taff because I got a crazy Welsh name. I said, okay, and I never looked back. So obviously, Taff is on the show. Taff, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited. And I feel that, after 8 years of friendship, I'm considering you for a promotion to address me with my real name.
Wow. I don't know. Here's the thing. I am married to nicknames number 1. I think if you got a nickname, you should exploit the shit out of it. And number 2, adding more syllables is not going to sweeten any deal.
Well, see, that's the beautiful thing about being Welsh. We're all multiple syllables and multiple consonants, very few vowels.
I just want one. Give me one syllable. Taff. Bam. We're in. We're out. People call me Dave. Dave. I don't. People say, "Oh, you like Dave or David?" I say, "Little time as possible. Call me Dave. If you want, you can call me D." If we get through
how's that going to work for Krista?
What do you mean? She calls me Dave most of the time.
No, I call you David.
She does call you David.
Yeah.
She does call you David.
I never call you David.
Like a naughty child.
That's the thing. I feel like
I have an Uncle Dave. You're David.
I know. I think everybody's got that. There's a subset of Davids in their life. Because when I was younger, I was in a 5th grade class with literally 3 other Davids. And so all the kids I knew were named David, and all the adults I knew were named Dave. So as soon as I sprouted my first pube, I said Dave now. Dave.
Well, you know who the patron saint of Wales is?
Dave? Dave?
Yes.
Super Dave Osborne?
So exactly. Saint David. Well, in Welsh, it's Dewi. Dewi. So I guess I'll call you Dewey.
All right. Well, here's the thing. I like nicknames. You can call me whatever you want. I like using short nicknames for other people, unless it is a direct realization of the extravagance of it all. Because in high school, I knew this kid. I still don't know his first name. His last name, though, was Farnsworth. And so I would yell at him constantly, Farnsworth, get in my office. Farnsworth, this, that, and the other. So, and still, obviously, it worked because I don't know his first name.
Yeah.
Well, see, Pete's got the right type. Pete remembers.
Yeah, I remember Bear Pint.
Remember Bear Pint?
I get Geraint. I get it. But
ooh, very good.
But here's the thing. You are beholden to the rut mentality, because I have people who have been introduced to me as their Christian God-given name, and then later they try and sort of backload, like, well, most of my friends call me blah blah blah, and I gotta be like, right. So I learned the first thing. Sorry, you're locked out. So that's what happened here. You said my name is Taff. I locked that in. As soon as that key turned, it snapped. That's it.
Kayla says, I don't know a lot about Wales, but I'd love to visit the Taff. Help me out here. Wimshalong Forest. I'm just cutting out the C.
Well, so the two L's is pronounced like a sh. So if you would do it that way, it would become Shashlong Forest.
Whoa.
So let's go there.
Know. Yeah. But I hate to say it, I don't recognize that name. I think that it might be I don't know. Is it Cumcan Forest maybe that you're talking about? I don't know.
Yeah, guys,
I don't know.
Wales geography is very important, but it's not more important than the FFOP5.
True.
So Taff, what I've got here obviously is possibly the most important psychological profile and or test ever to come out of this studio.
My gosh.
So what I'm going to do is I got 5 questions here. I'm going to ask you these questions in a very specific order, and your answers will dictate how I view and respect you for the rest of our lives.
That's going to be a very short 25 minutes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my smart guy glasses because this is psychiatrist time, but there's a little goo on them. Just give me 5 seconds, people.
That's what it is. It's goo.
You think I would?
Are you rubbing? No, hold on. Look at the action that you're making there. You can't see it, but I just want to point out that you just made a very inappropriate gesture, cleaning your glasses below the camera line with a smile on your face.
I know. If I were famous, people would take that, clip it out, and run with it. But thank God I live in obscurity. So, smart guy glasses are on. Interview time has begun, Taff. So, question 1. What is something that you are into that most people aren't? So something you're into that maybe most people wouldn't think of as a hobby or something. I want you to surprise me with something about you. This is a live show.
I know.
Talk me if you have to. Talk me through the process.
I mean, this is not one of those typical interview questions that you go for a job when they say, "What type of cookie are you?"
I've never been asked that.
I feel like there's literally nothing to gain from that question. However, the question I've just posed, because everybody's got something, I could pull out 4 or 5 things that I am either into now or have been into, that if I were to corner the random person on the street, friend or family member, I could bore them to tears with it because they would have zero interest 10 times out of 10. I'm looking maybe for something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be boring. It could be interesting, but just something that you do that maybe if you walk up to someone and be like, hey, are you into this? There's a good chance they're not.
So, in our previous career together, I did, I did develop somewhat of an obsession for a certain vehicle. To the point where...
Are we keeping it a secret? Does the vehicle have a restraining order? I assume it's we're just talking about the Mustang, right?
Yeah, of course.
Or because I wanted to clarify because we could have been talking about the Shelby specifically.
No. So let's stick with the Mustang. So it's definitely something that within that setting, I can get away with my boring knowledge of, how things work, how fast it'll go, and what year this vent went on this certain car.
Okay, yeah.
But if I'm out in the street and I see that little Kyle Bradshaw just had a 1995 Mustang given to him for his first car, and I'm gonna piss all over it with my knowledge, which is completely boring. I know that I'm probably gonna push him away from a Mustang and into a Ford Escort.
That's another thing that I think you, as a hardcore fan for something, you don't realize you're a hardcore fan, but you recognize that in other people and are turned off by it.
Right.
And so I'm always wary about telling people about things I like because I don't want to come off as that slavering, beast, like foaming at the mouth, being like, you have to experience this band, this food, this whatever. Because I know that means they will never do that. Mm-hmm. So you walk a fine line.
You do. You don't want to push them beyond the point of interest.
But Mustang Facts, I think, is a good one because maybe as things get more and more technologically advanced and out of the reach of the average person, I bet there were a lot more like gearheads around in neighborhoods in the 70s than there are today. Because I don't think, just personally, I don't see anybody working on cars anymore because you have to hook up like computers and shit to them.
Right.
I think a lot of that, there'd still be like diehard fans like you out there for the technical aspects and whatnot. But I think the plebeian, the everyone on the streets knowledge of automobiles, I think has gone down.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I do too. And it's also, it's the fact of it's a cost as well. You know what I mean? I mean, people were able to afford these types of cars, and now you're looking at $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, and not many 20-year-olds can afford that.
Well, and not only that, but I feel like also things are getting a lot less exciting. Like even like, let's say whatever in the 60s, even if your car was a piece of shit, it had some charm, like aesthetically, it was dangerous, like it could blow up. It whatever. Like there was a reason behind it, and it was because it was based on a design that I think somebody had. And now it's like everybody copies everybody else's. Like, point out to rip the emblems off your midsize, your compact, and your subcompact, Kia, Hyundai, Chevy, Ford. Mix them up and put them in a bag. I guarantee most people would be like, it's the same car.
Yeah, it's all a pissing contest now, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, that's exactly, especially when it comes to the. When it comes to the muscle sports car.
I realize it's completely unsafe, but what I want is a big ass bench front seat. I had a car back in the day, a Chevy Lumina, that had a big ass, like straight up 6 foot long sofa for a front seat. Oh my God. I love it. Like it had the console that turned down in the middle, or sometimes like if you just wanted to park somewhere and take a nap, it was a futon, for Christ's sake.
And then I remember a couple of years ago, you and I went out to Bass Pro Shop, not a sponsor, and we remember we took the Mayflower.
We did take the Mayflower, yes.
Man.
So for those uninitiated, the Mayflower was my beater car. So I inherited a Toyota Camry, a 1999 Toyota Camry. When I got it, I think it had 230,000 miles on it. I think I took it to 280 before it finally had to sail on its merry way.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I called it the Mayflower is because you know how when you watch old timey movies and it's like they're on a ship and there's that constant sort of like creaking of wood and dripping of fluids. That's what the Mayflower sounded like.
Yeah.
It was less a car and more a galleon.
It was a personality on wheels as well.
It was.
I remember when it overheated when Andy and Adam were here and we were at Barnes and Noble.
You'll always look back on your worst cars most fondly.
Yeah, of course.
The Mayflower may be like number one. I did have a Jeep for a while that I would just fuck around with. Like sometimes I just pull one or all of the seats out and be like, can't take you to lunch today, chums. Just to everybody's got a good car story. So that's good answer to that first question, Taff. So far we're doing well.
My brain hurts already. Number two,
give me a band that you could listen to exclusively for the rest of your life.
Muse.
Really? Why is that? Very quick answer. A lot of people stall. Why Muse?
Yeah. So huge fan of Muse ever since I was a kid. I mean, my musical tastes have obviously shifted a lot.
Yeah.
And I've gone from Sky is Blue to Deutschland by Rammstein. So it's been a bit of a transition over the years, but Muse has been one of those ones that ever since I was a kid listening to that song Plug-in Baby all the way up to their new album, I've just enjoyed, and to this day I still listen to them.
I think everybody's got one of those bands that they get their hooks into you and you're sold for the rest of their career.
Yeah. And I saw them live last year, actually, for the first time. I saw them live and in Phoenix, and they were phenomenal.
They're still active, right? Are they still producing studio albums?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they came out with an album last year. If you haven't listened to it yet, it was amazing. And the set is they say it's acoustic, but it's
they're a good band. I have not listened to Muse like in any significant way since I worked at a record store and was pretty much listening to everything that was coming out.
Right.
And without like that constant. That's the one thing I miss about working at a record store, an independent record store. They pay you for shit, but you'll undergo the most like musical growth ever because everybody there will be an opinionated music asshole because that's all that they hire. And so they will essentially force feed you their music because they will get to put a disc in the changer that plays throughout the store. But not a bad thing because that's how I was introduced to the Electric Six, one of my all-time favorite bands.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I it's when people ask, what's your favorite band? What's your favorite song? Well, I hate that question. I think it is such a silly question. If all the possibly millions of minutes you've listened to of songs in your life, there's no way you can narrow it down.
I would like to. Instead of saying, what is your favorite? I say, what is something you listen to? Like you'll never get tired of. Like there are songs I've heard that I love that I listen to every once in a while because they're like a very rich chocolate. I cannot listen to them all the time because I'll get sick and throw up. However, there are some songs I can listen to literally on repeat every day, all day. And then there were the ones that I don't actively seek out, but if they happen in the wild, I will stop and pay my full attention. I think everybody here knows which song I am referring to. Cher, if you're out there, please tweet me.
Do you believe?
Guys.
Kayla says, Taff, thank you. I can't ever name my absolutely favorite anything.
Yeah,
song included.
I know it's impossible.
I think it should be opened up to something. One of something you can not live without. That's easier.
Yeah.
See, having a favorite song is like having a favorite child. You say you don't have one,
but you do.
but if you're put under pressure,
but that's the thing too. I gripe about this all the time with my dinosaurs. It's depending on when you catch me. Like I'll always up the Camarasaur, but if you want to split it into phyla, we'll be here for a while. Anywho,
a long time.
Taff, question number 3.
Bring it.
You've got to lose a limb. I don't care which one it is, but you got to lose one of them. Which one is it? Go.
My left hand.
Well, that's not a limb. So you take your arm?
Take my arm. Yeah, I guess my left arm.
Listen. So here's what happens every time. It's always the left leg or the left arm, because almost everybody rather, has been right-handed. Who said the right arm? Somebody said the right arm. Somebody's left-handed, and I hope you're watching. Never say arm.
Was it Randy?
Leg. Maybe it was Randy. I still don't get you arm people. No matter how many times people explain it to me, I would rather they would rather lose an arm than a leg. So give me a shot, Taff. But I think that's insane.
Because I'm a bipod.
Well, whoopty shit. Like
I'm not gonna because listen, okay. Here's the thing. If I lose a leg, and let's say, for example, I decide to, let's give these arms a try. Let's give these arms a try. I'm also kind of a weird germaphobe, so now I'm having to put my hands on the floor a lot more, and that's not gonna work for me if I lose a leg.
What about you get a fake leg?
In what world would you?
That's what I said. That's what I said. If prosthetics weren't, if I couldn't do a prosthetic.
Well, of course you could have a prosthetic. That'd be ridiculous.
Well, then I'd rather have a prosthetic arm.
Listen,
I crush things.
Take this as it is intended. I know you personally, and I don't think that if you lost a leg, I would ever see you walking around on your hands.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
I would like to say that your premise to try and sway me over it was flawed from the beginning.
Well, why would you pick losing a leg over losing an arm? Because surely you use your legs more than you use your left arm.
Hell to the no.
Assuming you're right-handed.
I would say take the leg, sweep the leg, Jimmy. I would say, because there are so many things I need two hands for, like the fact that fingers alone, the hand alone. Like you lose a leg, so what? Now what? You have one less foot to pick up pennies off the floor with? Whoopty shit. Like let's say you want to play an instrument, unless you want to be a drummer like Def Leppard. You're goodbye guitar, goodbye everything, because you can replace a leg with a fake leg and you can run.
I'm changing my mind.
Oh, really?
No, do you know why?
Why?
Because I play video games.
Exactly. That's another reason.
And I use a controller and I use a keyboard for work. So you're absolutely right.
Hello?
Left leg or right leg.
People discount literally everything they do with their left hand, which is ridiculous. Work at a keyboard, ever type a letter, use a phone. Like, what if you're taking a piss and your phone starts bobbling in your right hand? You have no more left hand as a backup. Your phone goes into piss. But without a leg, you miss a couple soccer balls every now and again.
You walk in circles the rest of your life, but it's okay.
I imagine you could probably compensate for the circle walking thing.
Kayla says video games are the reason I'd choose to lose an arm. DDR forever.
Okay, so maybe it'll tailor, but I that's the thing. I think most people answer this question without thinking critically about how often they use the one over the other, especially if you've got a job where you sit on your ass all day like this guy. I would just sit and try to enter literally any information into any website, spreadsheet, computer with one fucking hand. You're like tick, 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 mouse, tick, tick, tick. Fuck that shirt.
Well, okay. This is an incredible hypothetical, David.
Yeah, Dave. and it's an incredibly easy answer, but somehow people keep it literally, if I drop the basketball hoop down to 3 feet and let you walk up to it, and people still go donk and brick. So
okay, so I'm losing my leg.
That's the right answer, Taff. I'm sorry I had to talk you into it because it seemed obvious to me, but it was the right answer. We got there eventually.
I'm open to persuasion, and you were very successful. Next.
Question 4. What animal would you like to test drive the body of? You got a long weekend. We're giving you 3 whole days, taking your brain and putting it in the mind of an animal. What are you going to inhabit?
An ant.
Okay.
I know that's not an animal.
It is an animal. It is definitely not a plant, and it is definitely not a mineral. So it's lands squarely in the animal category. But number 1, do you have a specific species of ant? Because there's thousands. And number 2, why?
Just your standard household black ant.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go the other way. I imagine a lot of people say like, I'd like to be an eagle and soar the planes.
We have gotten we've gotten predatory birds, we've got predatory cats. We did get a velvet worm, which was interesting. So what I'm saying is they're not all alphas.
Right. So now this is only for 3 days. If you just said for the rest of your life, I wouldn't have chosen ant because they're ridiculous.
Right.
So the reason why I chose an ant for a couple of days is because getting that perspective, how trippy would that be to be an ant? So knowing that you're for 3 days, assuming that you're an ant for 3 days, assuming that you have prior knowledge of your perspective of life as a human being. Now all of a sudden you're an ant. Everything is 900 times bigger than what you're used to. You're having to look up at these things, and it's just, I think it would be very, very trippy. Back home, I visited a movie studio where they had a big set. Everything, like the chairs were big, and it was for things like that. And I just think it's kind of cool,
I get that. So you're the only one who's taken the amount of time into consideration. I think everyone else has given me, I think, their animal they want to stay in for the rest of their lives if they were posed that question. But for 3 days, you get a little more leeway, I think.
Yep, definitely not as a permanent thing. Because I would definitely try and encourage a human being to stand on me.
Right. So what are, as an ant, you got the 3 days. Are you doing the whole, are you participating in a hunt? Are we taking it all in, or are we just basically walking around a giant kitchen tripping balls for 3 days?
I would hope, I would hope that in some other multiverse, for example, I was to be the ant from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That would be awesome.
I would die.
You would die.
Rip ant.
Spoiler alert also. Jesus Christ. Now all the people watching that movie will be like, no!
Spoiler alert.
It's a 40-year-old movie.
It's a great movie.
It is great. It made me very sad as a child, though. I think ant is interesting. So, because I also, when it's, because we also, Popeye, for instance, said rabbit. I was like, okay, so rabbit, wild or rabbit in the, see, he would be a rabbit in his own house. That's how close some people keep it. So I think with an ant, you've definitely got some interesting experiences ahead of you. I would hope that I would get into the house of some old burnout hippie who has a mushroom stash somewhere. And then I would just be like, hell yeah. Just on the counter 3 days, just this tripping balls, little black ant all over the counter, popping into the cookie jar every once in a while, getting the munchies.
Well, I'd want to check out that cool ant strength too.
Oh yeah, but here's the thing. I wonder if you could, because here's the rub, if you will. When you become an ant, I wonder if you will be beholden to that culture. If you try and break away, I wonder if they will come and get you.
Yeah.
Because it's a very
your way, rogue ant.
We have 3 days now.
It's ant culture is a very inclusive one, but it's also very fierce. So I look forward to your report once you're back.
Okay, I'll let you know what Rick Moranis says.
Thank you. Make sure he's got that baseball in the right spot. Question 5, and it may be the most important one.
My God.
Question on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love Steven Seagal?
Man, I'm putting myself into such a trap here.
There are very correct answers for this,
and then very incorrect.
And also very
yeah. Scale of 1 to 10. Honestly, I'd put myself at a 3. I know I'm terribly.
Listen,
sorry,
don't worry about it. That is on the cusp of acceptable. I accept polarity. Don't give me. Listen, I'll even expand it. Maybe I've been a little hard-nosed on this question. So here's what I'll do. No one's going to listen, but I'm telling you, the listener, when you come back, and the person I'm interviewing is also caught by surprise. Here's what I'm going to tell them. 1 through 3, totally acceptable. Low, shitty is good. You have an opinion and it's strong. 4 through 6, garbage. I don't want to hear it. You're a fucking waste. Don't come to me and tell me something's a 5, because That's not going to happen on this show.
No, ask me what my last Steven Seagal movie was that I saw.
What was it?
Exit Wounds.
That's one of the good ones. If
I know
the time period.
Yeah,
but 7 through 10 also acceptable. 4 through 6. So
yeah, no,
Taff,
I'm a pretty comfortable 3, I'm afraid.
Good news, you have passed the test. I have lost no respect for you.
Yes, so, well, you can't lose what you didn't gain, right?
There, yes. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you wake up and you're alive, you're still better than dead. So,
wow, that's deep.
Please write that down.
That's deep.
Please put that on Twitter.
I'm gonna put that on one of those success posters that you find at the office.
Yeah,
put a picture of you there.
No, it needs to be like a sunset. But if you want, I can pose like, and I'll just be like looking out over the water. Like, yeah, that is a smart thing I said.
It is, and on the horizon we'll see a silhouette of a Mustang.
Oh yeah,
a small ant.
What? Yeah, let's go nuts. Let's make it a fucking Lisa Frank poster. Let's make dolphins jumping out of the
pitch is going to be taken by Rick Moranis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's have dolphins coming out of the ocean to jump over the moon. We'll have like colorful unicorns running down the sandy beach. Taking on my smart guy glasses, guys, because that's over.
Oh, I loved Lisa Frank stuff when I was a kid. Shut up and take my money, Kayla says.
All right, so
I was about to give a Steven Seagal fact, but I didn't, just in case it comes up in the question after.
I 100% guarantee you it will not.
Yeah, I don't think Steven Seagal's been in any James Bond films.
No, he hasn't, but he was the stunt coordinator for.
Oh yeah, he broke a dude's hand, right?
You're such a spoiler.
I said it in the trivia question, and it's on the Steven Seagal trivia.
Oh yeah. He's such a dick. He's like this marvelous asshole. I can't get enough of him. Anyway,
I know.
So, Taff, here's what's gonna happen. You got to give me a team name. What is the name of your team?
The name of my team.
While you're thinking, here's a quick button on a story from when Trung was on. He recommended a band called Codaline. And if you know Trung and you know Trung's taste in music, it is exactly Trung's taste in music.
Is it like a teenage angst emo band?
Kind of. You know how those people who are like, man, you gotta check this shit out, dude. And like your metalhead friends and your hippie friends and your burnout friends, your bluegrass friends or whatever, you know exactly what their music is going to sound like, despite the fact that they're like, it's nothing, it's nothing like I normally listen to. It's way out there. It's all this. It's a really blah, 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 blah. It was Trung music, just so we know.
I was wondering. I forgot what it was called.
What is your team name?
Goldfingered.
Goldfingered. Over here on this side of the table is Team Moneypenny.
Ah, yes.
Ding. Never got her due. She should have got nailed all the time by James.
Yeah. He didn't want to disappoint. He had his limits, I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
I think it's just those things you don't stick your pen in the company ink. Like if you're seducing a spy, that's one thing, but you can't bang your boss's secretary. James knows that.
Well,
you can flirt.
Yeah, and he did that very well.
Yes, he will. He's got some lines. So we got Team Goldfingered versus Team Moneypenny. Now, Taff, as you may or may not know, since you are my guest, I will allow you the first question. But if you get it wrong, I will be able to steal, and vice versa until someone is declared the winner. The battery and the camera dies, or my throat gives way to a burst of shouting.
Okay. All right.
Please don't yell at me.
What happens.
Listen up, because here's the first question.
Taff, what Secret Service agency does 007 work for?
MI6.
Super easy.
Look, I don't know any of these. So
you didn't know what MI6? MI6 is a real thing.
I've never seen a full James
I was going to
Bond
say, can I have Dave's questions for fear of being set up? But I'm glad I didn't request that. That's
Spoiler
fine.
alert,
One question.
I have yet to set up any of these questions for David's benefit.
Yeah, spoiler alert. If you haven't tuned in to anything, believe you me, nobody is on my side on this show.
We're all feeding Krista $50 bills. That's why.
Aye.
David.
Okay.
The James Bond movies are based on a series of novels by what author?
Ian Fleming.
You are correct.
Ian Fleming, if you want.
Ian Fleming.
Ian.
Ian.
I like Ian because it reminds me of Ian J. Colbard.
I'm just trying to figure out what the accent was.
Iron.
Iron.
Like a lion.
Iron. Kale says I have a movie recommendation for Krista, but I'll save it in case it comes up in the trivia. Okay.
Please do.
Ooh,
we don't want any spoilers in the typing square.
Okay. Taff. What does Spectre stand for?
Oh.
It's a long one.
Yeah.
And but Spectre stands for Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, and Extortion.
Yeah.
And etc.
etc.
Yes. Good question.
Oh
man.
Thanks, I got it on the internet.
I'm like a classic Bond. Here's the thing. If this were like a Roger Moore themed episode, might be able to take it home. Let's hear it, Krista.
David, how many kills does it take to be promoted to 00 status?
Oh, what is it like? It's probably something crazy high or crazy low. I'm gonna say 100 confirmed kills.
No,
I don't know. You trying to steal Taff? Is it?
Yeah. It's not that many. I think it's.
I went 100 because it might be crazy.
I think it's 3. It's either 2 or 3. I'm gonna go with 3.
That is incorrect.
What
It
is
is 2.
2.
Oh, I get a half a point.
That's it? To become a 00 is 2?
2.
Yeah, I forget what movie it said that at Goldfinger, maybe. I don't know.
To Kill.
That it came out where they said that.
How? That's such a low. Okay, whatever. Fine.
Taff.
Well, I don't think that's the only criteria.
I'm sure it isn't, but
it
does seem like if you're gonna make it a round number, please.
Damn, I should have gone with 2. 2's my lucky number as well. Why would I deviate?
I don't know. Trivia got the best of you.
Yes, it did.
Taff, how many actors played M in the official James Bond series?
Holy shit.
1, 2, Judi Dench. 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Yeah.
It's Bernard Lee, Robert Brown, Judi Dench, and Ralph
Ralph Fiennes. I like Judi Dench's M. I think Ralph Fiennes does an okay
great.
job. I think Judi Dench did a killer job as M.
Yeah, the yin to his yang.
Mm-hmm. She's very like, oh, James.
Yeah.
All right,
David, what was the first James Bond movie?
Oh, the first one. Oh shit, Dr. No.
Yeah.
Damn it.
There we go. Whew, I almost blanked on that one because I was thinking of the first book.
1962, the movie came out.
Dr. No.
Damn.
Taff, what is Q's first name?
Q's his first name or his whole name?
His first name.
Algernon, but his full name is Major Algernon Boothroyd.
Yep.
Boothroyd. I love the name Algernon, though.
It's interesting. I've never heard that before.
There were some flowers for him once.
And he's Welsh.
Oh.
That's why.
Mm-hmm. And his last name has the 2 L's. So, David, how do you pronounce his last name?
I've already forgotten.
Llewellyn.
That's what it was.
David,
yes.
Who performed the theme song "Live and Let Die"?
Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
That is probably
wrong.
What? Wings?
Paul McCartney with wings, yeah.
Come on. It says Paul McCartney in the credits, I thought. It didn't say
Half
wings.
a point.
Half a point, my ass. Listen, that is
2 half points in the
that
show.
is probably my favorite Bond movie. Like Man with the Golden Gun's probably number 2. But Live and Let Die is fucking awesome. It's got
great.
Jane Seymour. Holy shit. Let's not spoil any questions, but we'll talk about it later. Favorite one. Krista, who's up next?
It is Taff. Who was the second actor to play Bond in a feature film?
Second.
It was George Lazenby in 1969.
You are correct.
George Laserbrain.
Yeah. He messed that whole thing up too. What a moron.
A fucking idiot. Like he had the world by the balls And he's like, no, I'm going to be a dickhead.
Yeah, literally, that was his first ever acting gig.
Went to his head immediately, fucked it up. Couldn't believe it.
No, and they wanted to give him like 7 more movies, and he was like, "No,
whatever."
Class A,
whatever.
Douchebag. Moving on.
David, what is the motto of the Bond family's coat of arms?
Oh fuck! Never give up, never surrender. I have no idea.
That is not correct.
I obviously. Taff. I'm trying to steal.
Oh man!
Didn't they touch upon it? Like it when they go to his house in Quantum of Solace, I feel.
And then, no, it's in Skyfall.
Oh, Skyfall.
Yeah.
I always confuse the two because Quantum of Solace came first.
I know what it translates to. Do you just want the English translation or do you want the Latin version?
Probably the English.
Okay, the English. Yes, the English is the world is not enough.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Kayla says, wasn't the motto be like Popeye?
It was die another day. It was be like Popeye. Oh man.
Okay, you got that right.
Let's take a pause and let's go over the scores here because I'm getting worried because there have been a lot of right answers.
So Team Goldfingered has 6. Okay. Team Moneypenny has 3.
What the fuck? I only have 3?
Yeah, and we have 5 questions left.
I feel like I'm doing so well. Someone in the typing square, back me up. Review the tape. All right.
Oh no.
Who's what?
Nothing. Carry on.
Who's up?
You.
Okay.
What is the name of Bond's ancestral home?
Isn't it Skyfall Manor?
Oh my goodness, that's so.
Didn't we? Skyfall Manor?
It's not Manor.
Skyfall. It says it on the thing. Skyfall was the name of his house. Skyfall. It was Skyfall. Was it Skyfall? Was it Quantum of Solace? Was it Quantum of Solace? Did he live in Casino Royale? Can we move on?
Goodness gracious.
Look,
his first home was Jaguar. The factory. All right.
The factory.
Dave does feel like he's doing well.
See, Kayla agrees. Moderator, always on my side. Also, Chief Summary Supervisor.
Nice. Taff, what was the first Bond film not based on a book?
License to Kill.
No.
Not based on a book was the first one not based on a book. Oh shit. Oh fuck. I feel like it's one of the Die Another Day.
No.
I don't know.
The Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh, what? That's right, because I fucking knew that because whatever. I'm angry, but whatever.
I got one wrong.
So wasn't The Spy Who Loved Me the one who was not associated with Albert Broccoli in any way?
No.
Which one was that?
There was a couple. No, I'm not going to answer that because in my last answer I said Skyfall, and that was the answer for the next question. So remind me after the quiz, and I will answer that question for you.
Who's up next?
It is
me.
You? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What does M collect?
What does he collect?
Yes.
Muskets? I don't know.
Negative.
I have no idea. Pocket squares would be my next guess. Taff, what do you got?
Butterflies.
Yes.
Oh shit! Yeah, I can see Ray Fiennes doing it right now.
Yeah.
Shit.
Butterflies. Oh shit! He's got a huge tie closet. Like it's 80 square feet of ties. Damn it! I feel like I'm definitely gonna lose this one.
Oh, there's no way you can win.
Huh?
It's 7-4, and there's 2 questions left.
At least I can close the
We
gap.
persevere.
You can. Taff, what were Bond's parents' names?
Martha. Martha. And Bruce. Thomas. Sorry, Martha and Thomas.
His parents' names. So his dad was Andrew Bond, and his mother was Monique Delacruz.
Yep. That is correct.
So here's the gentle viewer. Please bear with me as I tell you this short story. I say to Taff beforehand, I don't know much about it, so you're probably going to win. He says, nah, I don't know much about it. I say, okay. Before the show, I say, hey, here we go. You're about to win. He's like, I don't know. It's one of those things I like a lot, but I don't know much about. So now that we've proven that that is a lie,
I knew I should have placed a bet on a hustle.
you fucker.
You know, last week when I put that on Facebook about my son and I watching Bond, I was like, damn it, I shouldn't have done that, because now they're gonna ask me what the name of Bond's parents are.
Yeah. This is the last question, David.
All right, hit me.
Who was Bond's temporary guardian after his parents died?
His temporary guardian?
Ooh. I don't know this one.
Of course.
Was it M?
Doesn't know.
Did M take him?
No.
I don't know.
I don't know. I actually don't know that one. Who is Bond's temporary parents?
Just a guardian, singular.
Batman? Bruce Wayne?
No.
006?
Hans Oberhauser? Anybody?
I got nothing.
I don't know who that is. But that
Okay,
was the
so
answer.
now let's start talking about James Bond movies. Live and Let Live and Let Die. Live and Let Die. Holy shit. Yaphet Kotto. Holy, oh my god. So what a fucking movie.
It was.
Live and Let, probably the cheesiest of all the movies, but it has so much character. It's Roger Moore rolling around. It's got voodoo elements, and then it's the first one that takes place in America for the first time in the 70s, and like it's this like disco jive crime ring and shit. Oh my god. And not even to mention Solitaire. Mr. Big has Jane Seymour Solitaire, his tarot card reader, who has to say pure so she can read the cards. And of course, James slips a whole deck of lover cards into her hands so he can fuck her. Mm-hmm. But
yeah,
one of the best. I love the atmosphere. I love the voodoo of it all.
Do we have that?
Yes.
We should watch it.
Of course we do. Oh,
that's fantastic. No, and what was so he was coming into or stepping out of Sean Connery's shoes, because after George Lazenby did On Her Majesty's Secret Service in 1969, Roger Moore came back for Diamonds Are Forever. I'm sorry, Sean Connery came back for Diamonds Are Forever for one, and then it went to Roger Moore. So two completely different personalities, two completely different Bonds, and I love Roger Moore. He was definitely my, I hate to say second favorite, because he's just
comfort food. Roger Moore is comfort Bond, because Roger Moore's run in that series, nothing is ever too heavy. It's always got a lightness, but there's always a bit of stakes. There's always a bit of color. There's always interesting characters, right up until the end, where it's like A View to a Kill, where he's like literally 70 years ould and he gets a little tired. But still, one of my favorite runs, like the submarine fuck bed, all of his stuff. Like he deals with Hervé Villechaize on The Man with the Golden Guns Island.
An interesting fact, Man with the Golden Gun, so Christopher Lee, he's a cousin of Ian Fleming.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I knew that.
Yeah.
I was going to use that as a trivia question, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And you should have. And he actually asked Christopher Lee to play the part of Dr. No.
Yeah.
And he turned it down.
You know what was nuts? The one thing that sticks out about The Man with the Golden Gun that always struck me as weird and like obvious and like was the superfluous third nipple. Because Bond, as he often does, tries to go undercover and is caught immediately. And so when he goes undercover as Scaramanga, they put this third nipple on that looked completely fake. And he's immediately caught because it's like on the wrong side. And he looks nothing like Christopher Lee, obviously.
Right. Well, he went in with the premise that they'd never met.
Right.
Scaramanga had never met, whatever the guy's name is.
No matter how far ahead Bond is, right up until the end, the bad guys are like an inch ahead. But that's one of the great things about that era is like there weren't crazy fight scenes. It wasn't like a rush a mile a minute. It was just Roger Moore sort of having fun, kicking back, banging ladies, and solving mysteries and shit. And if you're into comfort food, as far as like media, that's your go-to. But don't get me wrong, Daniel Craig, amazing.
Yeah.
I think
No, I love Daniel Craig.
I think Lazenby has his moments in his movie, obviously. But
yeah,
here's the thing. I understand everybody loves Sean Connery. Cannot stand Sean Connery as James Bond.
He's not a very good person. He's not a very nice person. No, he's a terrible person.
He's just like he confuses his depiction of James Bond. I feel confuses like aloofness with just like brash dickishness. Where like, you know, Roger Moore will get a no, but he'll pull out some flowers and work extra hard and use charisma to turn that no into a yes. Whereas Connery gets a no and is like, that was the wrong answer.
Yeah.
And also,
have you seen?
Go ahead.
Have you seen? So, you know, talking about how Sean Connery was kind of the first one, which he was for the official ones. But
yeah,
did you ever see the
Casino
Barry
Royale?
Nelson?
I have not. No, I've never seen that one.
No, you can see it on YouTube. It's because it's black and white. Barry Nelson, of course, is an American, and you know,
I heard it was. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I just haven't checked it out yet. But like all of my problems, I think with the Sean Connery era is summed up in one perfect example. It tried to balance like serious spy thriller with like zany aspects. So I think it is in, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is in Goldfinger where Sean Connery as Bond goes to this masseuse and they tie him to this table for this therapy, and the nurse leaves and a bad nurse comes in to turn up the machine, and we look at the dial, and this is ostensibly a doctor's office meant to heal, and we look at the dial of this machine, and at the very end of it is a skull and crossbones. In what universe would a medical machine have a setting that goes all the way up to skull and crossbones? And it's all that kind of zany shit, like Thunderball with that 9-hour underwater fight sequence. I'm sure they thought that was cool, but it's just like, holy fuck. Like if every fight was bullet time and there were bubbles everywhere.
Well, that was, I mean, think about it. So when Dr. No came out, the majority of that movie, it had a $1 million budget. Okay. So, which they went over budget by. But think about it, that movie had very little in the way of action. So it was a lot of definitely, they couldn't do much, you know. Then when you stepped into the later ones, then Roger Moore, budgets got bigger, the audience got bigger, you know, the budget got bigger.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'll forgive a lot. I will if the reason for it is there, but Sean Connery gives me no reason to care. His James Bond is so charismaless to me.
Right.
And like aggressive.
So sidebar.
Yeah, Pete has some interesting information.
Yeah, Pete says he disagrees with one of the answers from the trivia, and he said The Spy Who Loved Me was a book. I can produce my copy if you want.
Did the book come after the movie? Was it based on the movie? Is it a novelization?
No, it was before. That's that. And I didn't want to correct you earlier. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't want to seem obnoxious, but yeah, it was incorrect.
Hey, you can thank the interwebs for that.
I just want one show where we don't give out false information.
I'm done.
Somebody needs to fact check everything on the fly. So Taff, give me your, give me, let's say, so I know you're going to hate this question, your favorite, but what's one, maybe not necessarily your favorite, but one you can always go back to and always watch, no matter the mood, no matter the time, no matter the what, like what is one of those Bond movies you could pop in and be like, yep, this is like the chocolate chip cookie of the Bond film series?
Depends on the mood. If I want to eat a steak dinner, then I'm gonna go with something like Goldfinger or Man with the Golden Gun. Not Man with the Golden Gun, Goldfinger, because it's a Connery. But if I want, like you said, what was the word you used to describe the Roger Moore movies?
Comfort food.
Comfort food. Yeah, if I want comfort food, I'm probably gonna go with Live and Let Die or Moonraker, something like that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. All bets off. I'm saying the one you can go back to any time, like no matter what the mood. If it's on, you will watch it, or whatever. So
So let me.
I'm even with that, because you can point to each of the Bonds and be like, from that era, that's the one.
Right.
So I guess maybe your top three that you just gave are okay. So
I have been watching them through again,
and
I'm just about to get back to the Brosnans.
Okay.
But I will say that. Yeah, but I will say that right now my list is Goldfinger at number 1, Man with the Golden Gun, Spy Who Loved Me, Thunderball, Live and Let Die, You and Live Twice, Moonraker, License Kill, Diamonds of Forever, View to Kill, Octopussy, If Your Eyes Only, For Us with Love, Dot, and No Living Daylights, on a Majesty's Secret Service.
Okay. See, Octopussy is one of those ones where I like, but I haven't seen it as much as the other ones.
Right. It's definitely one of the quieter ones, and
which is ironic, right? It's called Octopussy, and it's one of the ones that, like, almost outside of name checking it, I don't think anyone may even know it's a Bond film.
Well, one of the reasons why it didn't get the recognition that it deserved was because it was the same year that Sean Connery came out with the unofficial one, Never Say Never Again.
Yeah.
And Never Say Never Again actually did better in its opening week than Octopussy did.
I think people were probably like crashing upon the waves of nostalgia to see Connery back in that mantle.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, I get it. Like, you would that's the thing. Don't do a Favre. If you leave, stay gone, or unless you're going to come back and do it like right. Don't come back and half-ass it. Like, if you're going to come back,
right,
fucking go for it. Don't come back and be like, I'll slip into the old shoes. We're going to cash a paycheck. Good.
Yeah.
There's no.
I mean, it's been years since I've seen it. Like, so, I mean, I can't even remember much of the premise, but I remember that each time I watched it, I didn't like it. But I can tell you what, in my opinion, the worst Bond movie is.
Okay.
Quantum of Solace. I cannot.
Why is that?
That movie, because it's all over. It's alphabet spaghetti. Makes no sense.
Yeah,
it's all over the place. Like, and Daniel Craig made one of my favorite ones. Skyfall in my opinion, is top 3.
I think Casino Royale, like, that was a breakout. Like, that one was so, not only like was he great, all the villains were great. Like, the stakes were there. It was shot beautifully. The color palette was immaculate. Like, it was a killer. I think of my Daniel Craig's, that's probably my favorite, simply because it's also the warmest. Because as they progress, the palette definitely tends more toward the blue, and it gets more dour and depressed. Casino Royale is like almost a throwback to the Roger Moore stuff with the color, but still having that hard edge of Bond being like, I got cards and you're bleeding, you're crying blood, bitch, and all this other shit.
Yeah, no, I loved Casino Royale, and it took a long time, because of the rights, having the rights to the movie. It took a long time, but I think that it was I think that movie did for Daniel Craig what Live and Let Die did for Roger Moore.
Yeah,
with regards to the Bond series.
Really, really great stuff. Oh my gosh.
Kayla says, you're so right about Quantum of Solace. I didn't get it much either. But who am I to talk? My favorite Bond was Peter Sellers' Casino Royale.
Peter Sellers.
Oh, come on, Kayla. So there wasn't even an official one.
Yeah. That was the Woody Allen one?
That was the Woody Allen one.
Okay. Just to double check my memory. But
yeah.
So Quantum of Solace was the one that takes place like in Rome, right? And that the chick drowns at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spoilers.
Oh well, no. So Quantum.
That one's so forgettable.
That's what I'm saying. If you ask me to describe the premise of Quantum of Solace, I'm a huge fan, and I'm drawing a blank.
That's
like I don't. It wasn't. She wasn't where she. I don't think it was when she drowned at the end. I think that was
because he's all mopey about it in Skyfall.
Right. Yeah, and then he quits, and
so I thought that was.
You know what? These were all prequels as well. Don't forget.
Right. I also love, no matter what, there are specific Bond villains who survive solely by their iconic visage, and there are those that survive by their like weird ass characters.
Knick-Knack.
Knick-Knack. I think that what's his Mr. Big, like Baron Samedi, I think isn't necessarily a villain, but he's like the guy who did the 7-Up commercials. If you're
right,
and so he plays this voodoo god Baron Samedi. I think he's incredible.
Yeah,
and obviously Christopher Lee. You don't have to do anything with him. He's a 10-foot giant.
No, so a couple of my favorite, like the sidekick bad guys, if you like, or the backup antagonists. Mr. Wint and Mr. Kid from Diamonds Are Forever. I don't know if you recognize them, but if you after the show or whatever, Google them, and they are they're the types of people that you would expect to see on the news today that are, let's say, child enthusiasts.
Okay.
But their persona in the movie is they're very mellow, but they have a very dark undertone. I thought they were really great. So definitely, if you get an opportunity, look at that one again. Look at them again, Mr. Wint and Mr. Kid.
Yeah, there are so many good Bond villains, but and I think everybody can agree that the worst is probably Christopher Walken. Because his plan was the stupidest plan in the fucking world.
Yeah.
So Christopher Walken in I'm blanking on the name now.
That was View to a Kill.
Yeah, View to a Kill. Christopher Walken's plan is to use a doomsday weather machine to destroy Silicon Valley and basically corner the market on microchips. And I think Roger Ebert put it best. He was like, those would be the buyers of your microchips, you dumbass. The microchip, the supplier, like the manufacturers are in Japan. You would be destroying your customers.
Yeah, it's Hollywood. Nothing's accurate. We don't care about accuracy.
This isn't a little like, whoops, it was a little oversight. You're destroying everyone that you're going to try and bilk later. That's not like Goldfinger being like, oh, whoopsie daisy, it's a little snafu in the old plan. This is the plan would defeat him itself, and James Bond needn't have been, because Christopher Walken would have destroyed his customers and gone out of business. The end. Lots of people died in California. However, James Bond banging a chick on a fuck sub.
I was watching License to Kill the other day, and young Benicio del Toro, and what's his face? Oh my God, I can't think of his name. The bad guy in it.
I don't remember this particular.
You'd recognize, right? You'd recognize him if you saw him. I'm sorry.
That's the thing with Bond now stretching 50 years or however many movies there are. It's its own mythology now. Like it's reaching into that area where like comics are now, where the stories are so convoluted and are so chopped up because they've been out of order chronologically since the beginning.
Right.
So
they have,
and that's the thing. Like he's gone through so much too. So what's the one? Okay, again, also another great character that I think it's overlooked that also shows up in subsequent films is Sheriff J.B. Stillwater or whatever his name is.
Yeah, GW.
So
GW.
in Live and Let Die, GW is this Southern Louisiana sheriff who doesn't know shit, but he thinks instead of just being like, hey, I'm a secret agent working with your government, James Bond is just like, I'm going to deal with this later. And so there's this hilarious chase scene with the Southern sheriff. And I realized they needed to do this so that they but something that always stuck out to me, and if it stuck out to you too, let me know. When the chase scene is over, GW found it, got to the end. There is Bond. It is time to arrest this man for all the havoc he has caused. He fiddles with that one side of those handcuffs for minutes. So much so to the point where I'm like, how did this man become the chief of police if he cannot even open a single handcuff as James Bond stands there smugly as his contact walks up to be like, you can't do shit. He's a fucking super spy.
Yeah. And he throws his hat on the ground and goes, "Secret agent!"
And he he always spitting. And they in this movie, they do this awesome stunt. I'll use stunt in quotes, where James Bond and GW are in a Gremlin or a Pinto or one of these little 70s cars. And they go through this like corkscrew bridge, and like it's the lamest effect, but it's like whoa, and GW is like, oh, land the Goshen, and he's like Foghorn Leghorn, the human.
Oh God,
that was the Man with the Golden Gun.
Oh, so yeah. So that's the thing. He shows up in so many places. He shows up in the Man with the Golden Gun simply by coincidence. Like he's on vacation in Thailand.
I feel as if you're not giving that stunt enough credit.
I am not, because you have to see it. I cannot express it in words. You have to see it. So
yes, it's completely obvious that ramp has been constructed for that purpose. I mean, it's not subtle, right? But let's also remember this is 1973.
Yeah,
and
that's why I love it.
Yeah, and that stunt, I think it took him like 6 weeks to do all the math or something behind it, and then they did it in one shot. But it was actually done. No CGI, no ropes.
Yeah, because you couldn't. No, we didn't have that shit. That's what's so insane about it. Like it's basically just like a physics experiment right before your eyes. Yep. and what I think is also funny about that movie is GW, who is essentially like, you would think that there's probably a white hood hanging in his closet somewhere, takes a vacation to Thailand. He goes to Thailand. This backwoods hillbilly sheriff, who like is in a fan boat 9/10 of the time, is like, yep, time to broaden my horizons and experience new cultures like Thailand.
Yeah, and then pushes that boy into the river when he tries to sell him that wooden elephant.
Yep, that is he but that's the thing. He developed as a character. You may think, oh, this guy. But then when you see him in Thailand, you think, oh, well, maybe he's a little worldly.
I loved it. I loved, like, in his second one was Man with the Golden Gun. I loved him in that movie. I think he was fantastic because
he was a great part.
How he'd fully, he'd accepted the fact it was Bond. Bond was a secret agent, whatever, and he was like, "Well, I'm just going to grab this bull by the horns," and he just goes with it.
It was back in the days when they could have like whimsical asides, like you would never see Brosnan, you would never see Craig, like have a whimsical aside with a side character. Because it would be so tonally inconsistent. But like the Roger Moore ones, since they were pretty much throw whatever against the wall. Like in one of the Roger Moore movies, he dresses up as a clown.
Yeah.
And he runs around dressed like a clown. And you would never, ever, ever see like such a divergence, because the people making the movies now are like, on brand. He's got to be cool. He's got to do the martini. He's got to bang hot chicks. He's got to be a hot dude. Like you'll never see Daniel Craig maybe, get stranded somewhere, hop into a VW bus with an old gypsy, and they go off on a slight little semi-adventure. You would never, but those were so delightful in the old ones.
No, he was. And that was I think it was Octopussy when he was a clown. And but it was. You're absolutely right. You would never find that. Even Timothy Dalton, who took over for 2 movies, after Roger Moore, they are very, very different actors with very, very different interpretations on Bond. But Daniel Craig, they wanted to, because it was a prequel, they wanted to base his version of Bond as close to the books as possible. So his version is actually, they say, closest to Ian Fleming's version of Bond.
I get that, and I can see that. He definitely, Sean Connery had his old-timey attitudes toward things, but that was more a product of his time. I think Craig embodies those old-timey values without seeming dated. And it does make a little sense, because like when you first, let's say you kill your first 2 dudes, you get into the 00 program, you're going to be on lockdown. You're going to have it tight as shit. So by the time you get to a Roger Moore age, You've been there. You've done that. You've killed your guys. Now you're just trying to get through life, solving, whatever, fighting crime, being a super spy. But you have a little fun. You dress up like a clown. You get onto your fuck sub. You live your life is what I'm getting at. I think Roger Moore is when Bond has relaxed into his role as a super spy. He knows exactly what he's doing. The gears are greased. Everything is oiled and working properly. And he's not only great at it, but he's so great at it, he can take time out to hang with a hot chick or go on his 80 adventure with a sheriff.
Yeah, he can. I agree with you. I think he's fantastic. But it's really annoying to me because the one on Her Majesty's Secret Service, the one that George Lazenby did, I think is actually potentially a really good movie, but it's ruined by George Lazenby. Because it was the only one where he got married.
Yep.
We got to see a lot more of another version of Blofeld and some fantastic scenery, but I don't know. I think that if that was somebody else, here's the thing:
the George Lazenby Bond is like the exact opposite of that well-known fact is Indiana Jones was almost Tom Selleck.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the exact opposite of that. It's like, George Lazenby was Bond, but then he completely fucked it up. Like we're on that half of the universe where he could have been like, we could be on the flip side of this coin being like, George Lazenby could have been a blah, 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 and he could have gone on to do whatever. But it just so happened that he got in, flamed out immediately because it all went to his head. And that sine wave collapsed.
Absolutely.
So crazy.
And it was his first movie, and Diana Rigg, who played Tracy, his wife. Obviously, she was a well-known star at that time anyway. But he put himself so highly, or so much higher above those people, and asked for an exorbitant amount of money, and thank goodness, really, thank goodness, because then we wouldn't have had more. Well, we probably would have, but not for as many.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine George Lazenby doing Live and Let Die?
Yeah, I think that would suck. And it's like, also, here's the other thing. It's the same thing with Brosnan, because he was going to, like, his first movie, he was like out the door on the way to be like, yep, I'm the next Bond, when his series got picked up for another season. So what could we have had if he'd gotten in earlier and younger? Who knows? But we got him sort of
mid-30s
with Madonna.
No, that's right, because he was offered for Living Daylights.
And another near miss, but also could have been another Lazenby, but probably not, because he already had some experience. So
but I actually like Dalton.
Well, it was Remington Steele was the series he was in. Yeah, okay, because I knew it was something close to like a Bond-esque action sort of thing. So crazy. And Bond is also one of those things where I spent so much of my time being like, that's an old man franchise, that's a dad franchise, that's an uncle franchise. And I was the same way about Seagal, but Chuck Norris, I think, is. Yeah. But there are some of these people that and things that transcend like just a thing your boring uncle likes. And Bond is definitely one of those things. But on the surface, it seems very like, cookie cutter. It's like super spy, tuxedo, shaken not stirred, yada yada. He's turned into a cliche. But there's a lot more than just like, because there are some movies and properties out there that you never have to watch or experience because they've been regurgitated so many times in not social media, but like media. Like if The Simpsons did it, you probably have seen the movie.
Right.
But Bond is one of those things where you can't pigeonhole it, because each Bond is its own thing, and each of those things has its own peculiar charm.
Well, now they're stepping. So when they started to write non-Ian Fleming inspired scripts, if you like, they didn't take it directly from it. They deviated far away from that. And you think about it, when it came into the 2000s, they were now contending with the new Mission Impossibles. They were contending with the Jason Bournes. So that market of uncles or fathers movies was definitely getting smaller and smaller and smaller, because that's that was me. That's how I grew up.
Mm.
You know, and so Christmas especially, they would play the Bonds all the time. And it just, reminds me of kind of being a kid too. So
yeah, I think I don't know. It's definitely one of those. Bond has a legacy. I think people know him more of reputation, which is, it's definitely a relic of its time, because you can't. There are some things that are just not going to hold up, like the aforementioned Sean Connery's attitude toward women.
Right.
So there's there's gonna be cringy moments, but that's, as we move through history, there's gonna be that everywhere. You can't,
of course.
And I'm a huge proponent of, like, don't hold history's art to the standards of today.
Right. Agreed.
I think it's just easier to pick apart and be offended by movies and stuff, and or music or whatever, because it's like a living thing. Like if somebody makes a weird or offensive painting or picture or sculpture, it's just like, well, it's art. It's got to be, it's its own thing, and I can't stand it because it's art. And it's art. It's art. But you move away from what most people consider art, and it's just like, I do not see the value.
No. A lot of it is subjective, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
And that's, that's it. But no, I've grown up with it. The Bond movies to me are like Muse. Been there since I was a kid, and I honestly, I've never seen a Bond trailer before it's come out. Never watched a Bond trailer. Never read the synopsis. Never learned anything about it. I haven't even heard the song by Billie Eilish yet.
Oh, she's doing the song. Listen,
Yeah,
I get the legacy of pop stars essentially doing the songs after a certain point, like, but Paul McCartney, and now it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they're both very talented, but Billie Eilish and what's his name,
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish. Who did
and Sam Smith.
Sam Smith. Don't get me wrong, he's very talented. That was a shitty Bond song.
Right.
That was a shit ass Bond song. A Bond song needs to kick you in the teeth and be like, guess what, motherfucker? It's a spy movie, and here's some silhouettes of some nipples. Don't give me like this 90-minute meandering, weepy shit. Holy fuck.
Dude, I don't like Adele's music. I'm not an Adele fan. It's definitely not in my
Skyfall
genre of choice. Skyfall,
beautiful.
I thought it was a great theme tune.
Yeah, if you're gonna do something slow, do it like that. Make it an operatic thing. Don't make it a weepy bitch ass tune that sucks.
But what's your take on Chris Cornell for Casino Royale? For You Know My Name.
Listen, I'm gonna stay open.
Yeah, I think it's a great. I love the song itself. I think it. You Know My Name is a great song. It's a great movie, but I like what you said just then. About how making the song a reflection of the movie.
Yeah,
and that's why I like Skyfall. Skyfall to me is just one of the. I remember watching that movie, and
it's rich.
It's just I wanted to go back and watch it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to go back in. I don't care if I had to pay double. I loved it that much. And
almost all the Bond movies, like when you watch them, that theme song fits what we are going to be seeing. Like the Live and Let Die, it's like, wow, and like there's fire and shit, and it moves, and then there's slow bits, and then it kicks up again, and it's just like the movie. Because at one moment you could just be like hanging out in the back room or ordering a snake from a voodoo shop, and the next minute you're on a tiny island and there's a big, huge black dude with a scissor for a hand throwing chickens and alligators at their alligator farm.
I know it was a great movie. I mean, it was all the fact that they took so much. They took penne. They took regular spaghetti, they took linguine, fettuccine, and they went, these are all delicious. Let's put them all together. And that's exactly what it did. And it worked. It made the most amazing meal.
Yeah.
I'm hungry for spaghetti.
You don't listen. the more you put into something, the greater the potential for fucking up. And full disclosure, all of the things I do in regards to the show that I put an extraordinary amount of energy in. Like if I'm like, yeah, I'm going to polish this bit, this whatever to a diamond sheen, that is how I know it's going to fuck up. If I do it and I write it down, I give it zero thought, it's always way better.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So that when you get these movies that are just like, we'll try this and this and this, and we'll see what works. And if it doesn't work, you may fuck up spectacularly. You may have a quantum of solace on your hands because of all the things that you try that just don't go, but you won't know until you try. And you're not, we didn't get T2 in a vacuum. We had to get T1 first. Not to change movies.
Oh, such a good movie too. It's one of the things about my passion about James Bond, honestly, is that I don't really get to talk about it that much. So it's nice to kind of be able to share that with you and everybody.
That's the one thing that this show is done for people. I wanted to, for this live sort of hangout and bullshit, every time I get someone on, I say, what trivia do you want to do? Because I know that there are people out there who want to talk about these things, but either are stuck inside or, don't feel like you want to bore other people. Like, that's this whole fucking show, dude. Like, we've done the 90s, we've done Ninja Turtles, we've done Bond now, we've done Universal Monsters. I don't know shit about most of these things, but I know enough to, ask a question or two.
Yeah, and you don't have to know a whole bunch about it to enjoy it.
No, and that's why I always get someone on who knows more about it than I do, so I don't have to be the one who's like, well,
Well, actually.
Well, I don't know. Well, actually, guy.
Yeah, right. And it's funny when you asked me that question at the beginning about a subject that is completely just I could talk forever about and bore people about. I was going to say Bond? James Bond. Yeah, I was going to say Bond, but I thought no.
But you didn't want to undercut those.
Krista really is going to give me the difficult questions.
Yeah, because you didn't want to undercut those two lies you told me earlier about how you didn't know shit about James Bond.
And I'm not really a fanatic. I'm just a fan.
I don't know much about it. I just know his parents' names, where he grew up, and the name of his house, and his blood type.
Shoe size. He was 38 when he got 00 status, FYI.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. So, guys, Taff, thanks so much for coming on the show. James Bond is something I can always talk about. Do you have any staff recommendations? You're an honorary member of the staff for this episode. Do you have anything you want to recommend? People that can be on topic or off, James Bond related, if you got your favorite movie you want to give out, or just something new and interesting you're into.
You know what? If I'm going to stick with the Muse thing earlier, if you haven't listened to their newest one, do yourselves a favor and do it. But do yourselves a favor and listen to the second half before you listen to the first half, because they basically do the album again, but they do it in different styles. There's one of them where they do one of the songs with whichever cheerleader band thing, whatever. Do yourselves a favor, listen to that album, listen to the second half first, Algorithm, alternate version, listen to the album in order. It's absolutely fantastic. You'll enjoy it.
I think the last Muse song I heard from start to finish was like MK Ultra, like the first track off of that album.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good. I remember being like, yeah, but my attention span is very slim these days.
Yeah. Also, make sure everybody goes trick-or-treating for Halloween.
Yeah. Now's the time to do it, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, thank you. I've had a great time. It's been a blast.
Yeah. So guys, thanks for coming, participating in the chat. Obviously, I'm going to remind you all that hopefully in the the box down below this video, you'll see a link to our merch store, so you can pick up some awesome Popeye merch. I just redid the store, so. All kinds of stuff. I've ordered some stuff, as your sample or whatever, but also I want to wear it. So get in there, get some of that Popeye merch. It does not support us. It supports animal rescues, a TBD, because I was going to give it to Popeye for his, but he's saying he has got an in with a local animal rescue here in Arizona. So one way or the other, this money will go to needy animals. I just got to figure out which side of the country first. Also, guys, we stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you want to come by, if you haven't been aware of that, we're on the Facebook stuff. I mean, that's where you guys came from. Is there anything I need to mention that? I don't think. I feel like I should be I'm shit at advertising. So if you think of something that I should be saying, let me know. Ooh.
No, I think it was.
That's
I think it's great. Something for everybody.
I think we've got some pretty big shows coming up too. Like I know I keep playing up all our big guests, but shows like this are just as good because like, well, where else are you going to get James Bond trivia? Number one, and number two, like we're all people and just about worth exactly the same.
Yeah,
exactly.
And the next one.
And so I guess before we all start going, yeah. I just want to say that so that when I start upping, like when we have paleontologists and rock stars and shit on, I don't want to like trash talk or downplay anybody else who's taken their time, their sweet ass time, their valuable time to come on this show and have a little fun for the amusement of a few people in the typing square.
Yeah.
Also,
anytime.
Typing Square, how does this sound, by the way? I'm really upset with you, Typing Square. The last episode, the audio was fucked. It was blown out the whole time. Not a single one of you was like, it sounds bad. It was bad. Kayla, be on point. You're my mod. If it sounds bad, be like, Dave.
Okay, you shit together, Dave.
Yeah. And also, I'm going to point you in some directions to kick people out. We're going to start exerting some power over some people.
By the way, big thanks to Pete for pointing out the book.
The wrong question or the wrong answer.
We've always got people in the chat to point out what's going on. Also, mention Pete photography. We had the Q&A photography show a while back. That was fun.
Kayla says, I'm sorry, I'm not listening with $10,000 Beats headphones. I can't tell the nuance of sound quality.
This wasn't nuance. I was all the audio, bar none, sounded like it was maxing out and crackling. I
bet YouTube just, how when I take a picture and all I do is just change the filter to auto to when I edit it. I bet they do that on their side and just make everything auto so it sounds like shit.
They condense a lot of it.
Whatever. Moral of the story is, call me on that shit, people. Like if with all the people I have around me trying to sabotage the show from within, tell me from without. Like, don't let me do it willingly, for fuck's sake.
The only problem I saw a problem with the camera.
Because it was pointed in the wrong direction?
Because it was on.
We got an ID10T problem here, Taff. I think my problem's in between the chair and the keyboard here. Anyway, guys. But seriously, guys, thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming by. If you're watching this in the future, everything I said still stands, no matter what year it is. So, Taff, thanks for being on, man. And
thank you.
Anytime. We'll see you guys next time. 2 days time if you are watching this now, and right away, even if you are watching this now, once it's done, we got more videos. Watch one.
Yeah. Do it.
I mean, if you want to. Anyway, bye, guys.
That's shocking.
Bye.
I think we kept